You might have remembered when I went over all the different types of skulls. You have some that have colors, you have some that don't have colors. This one has little yellow lines that separate the bones, that makes it easier to see. And there are other ones that are just pure white, where they have no separation between the different bones. But I included these two because when you first start looking at the skull, a lot of students get overwhelmed. And a lot of students will just want to stop right there. But if you stop to think about it, what you're going to look at and what you're going to study, can you learn a couple things on each picture? So let's start with a couple things on each picture. Let's look at the bones. This is your frontal bone, nasal bone. This orange right there is your maxilla. You have this blue one right here called your zygomatic. You have this yellow thing up there, which is part of the ethmoid bone. You have the gray thing right there, which is going to be the vomer. If you look closely in here, you see there's a pink thing right there. That's going to be your lacrimal. Just behind your lacrimal is going to be your ethmoid, which is yellow. And then look directly into the back where that green bone, that's your sphenoid bone. And if you're sitting there looking, you're like, that's a lot. You can find them on this one too. Frontal, nasal, maxilla. You have your zygomatic, lacrimal, ethmoid, sphenoid straight in the back. The only one that both of these models are missing is your mandible. So we'll look at that one later. But if you're sitting there thinking, if I turn it like this to the side, am I still able to figure it out? I think so. Because even if you turn it like this, frontal bone still there, sphenoid still there, that's still the zygomatic. You can see the lacrimal and the ethmoid bone. You can see the maxilla, and you can see the nasal bone. On this view, the only thing that's different, parietal, temporal, and occipital. And then if you turn it to the back, everything's the same. Look at it from inside. You don't have new bones. You have the same bones that you just looked at. You have your frontal, sphenoid, temporal, occipital. And the only one that changes on the bottom, you can see the vomer a lot better, and then you can see the palatine bone, which is red instead of orange. But all the bones is the best way for you to start. Don't start looking at the structures yet. Look at each individual bone before you start doing any of the structures.